Welcome to this video for data-driven alerts. You must have access to Tableau Server to use alerts. If you have publishing rights, you can download and republish the exercise workbook to follow along in your own copy of Tableau. Tableau Server can email you an alert if your data crosses a specified threshold. Alerts are a great way to stay on top of your changing data. To create an alert, open a published workbook and select the numeric axis for the chart you want the alert for. Here, for example, I want to be alerted if a stock price exceeds $850, so I've selected the axis for average close price. With the axis selected, click the Alert button. A dialog will pop up allowing us to configure the alert. We can set the condition, above or equal to, below, etc. I'll select above, and set the threshold value itself. I'll enter $850. The pink line is temporary to help us see where the threshold falls in the current viz. It won't be added to the view. I see that my condition is currently met, which I'm okay with. We can also set the subject line of the email. I'll say, sell stocks. There's also the ability to determine how many times to get the alert. For example, I only want to get an alert at most once a week. And finally, we can set another recipient, if they're a member of the site with an email address available. To create an alert on a subset of the data, such as just a single stock ticker, we need to have an axis that's specific to that subset of data. Here, it looks like I have an axis per company, but really, it's the same measure. And if I try to set an alert, I can see it applies to all 3 companies. However, if I click on Tesla and keep just that, the axis is now tied only to the piece of data I want the alert on. But alerts can only be made on saved views. What does that mean? To make this a persistent view, we can save it here where it says the view is the original. Once we've saved the view and the axis is selected, we can click on the Alert button and proceed as before. If we want to manage our alerts, we can do so by clicking on our name in the upper right-hand corner and selecting My Content. Here we can see a new tab for alerts. We can see a list of all the alerts that we receive or own and links to their respective views. If we open the menu, we can delete the alert, modify who receives it, and edit it, just like we did when setting it up. When building alerts around stacked bar charts, there's one thing to keep in mind. Here, it looks like the profit for furniture goes all the way to $350, so it would pass an alert for a threshold of $325,000. But really, the view stacks the profits for each subcategory, so the negative profit for tables needs to be subtracted. Tableau will create the alert based on the total for each axis. Here, the view has bars to show the total as Tableau sees it for each category. These values are what the threshold will be compared against. As long as we keep that in mind, we can build data-driven alerts off stacked bar charts just like everything else. If you're a publisher who creates views for others to use, there are some tips that can make your vizzes more useful for those setting alerts on them. Only some types of views work for alerts. No Gantt bars or maps. Make sure your axes are showing. Sometimes we hide headers and axes when they're not necessary, but they need to be present for alerts. If you usually turn off the command buttons and tooltips, remember that if someone wants to set an alert for just a subsection of the data, they'll need to create the view for themselves, and command buttons that keep only or exclude can be very helpful there. Alternatively, build your views such that each piece that someone may want to have an alert on has its own axis. Thank you for watching this training video on alerts. We invite you to continue with the free training videos to learn more about using Tableau.